Daniel, why do you keep her in the kitchen? She's scaring the customers when they peek through.
Sophia's right. Maybe you should work nights when it's darker, less visible.
Honestly, how does someone that ugly even make food look good?
2 years ago, they mocked her, called her ugly, laughed at her. But Grace had a secret. And today, she's coming back. The woman they humiliated is about to take everything. This is the story of Grace Williams, the chef everyone laughed at, the one they said was too ugly to be seen. But she had a secret, talent that would conquer the culinary world. Grace, 32 years old, 2 years ago. Ugly face, but a soul that shone brighter than anyone could see. Mocked every day, but she never gave up. Sophia, 28. Beautiful, shallow, and cruel. She got by on looks and a smile that cut deeper than any knife. Daniel, 45. The owner, more concerned about image than skill. And then, the critic, the person who would change everything. Grace worked at Belle Cuisine, an upscale restaurant in Abuja's Maitama district. She was the head chef. Her food, incredible, Michelin star quality. But her face, society called it ugly. Every day, torture. Morning, she'd arrive early to prep. Sophia walked past laughing. "Good morning, ugly. Try not to scare the vegetables." The staff laughed. Grace said nothing. She stared. She endured. Lunch. Daniel paraded Sophia in front of the dining room. "This is Sophia, our hostess, the face of Belle Cuisine." Grace was told to stay hidden. "Don't come out front, Grace. You'll upset the aesthetic." She understood. She wasn't wanted. Evening. Staff went out for drinks. Grace? Not invited. "Sorry, Grace, it's a small table. You understand?" She understood. Then, the breaking point. A famous food blogger came in. Her meal? Perfect. Grace's best work. The blogger asked to meet the chef. Daniel panicked. The chef is indisposed, but Sophia can tell you about the dish." Sophia knew nothing about cooking. She stumbled through it. The blogger posted online, "The beautiful chef behind tonight's incredible meal." Grace saw it. Her work credited to someone else. That night, she cried herself to sleep. But when she woke up, something had changed. She was done being invisible. Grace started documenting everything. She created an anonymous food blog, The Hidden Chef. She posted photos of her dishes, stunning plating, incredible techniques, no face, just food. The blog went viral. "Who is the hidden chef? This is the best food content in Nigeria. I would pay anything to eat at this chef's restaurant." Meanwhile, at Belle Cuisine, business was struggling. Why? Because Daniel had fired Grace. It happened after the blogger incident. Daniel called Grace into his office. "Grace, we need to talk about your position here." "My position as head chef?" "Yes. Look, you're talented, but Sophia has been taking cooking classes. She's more marketable, more camera friendly." "You're replacing me with Sophia?" "It's business, Grace. Image matters. Surely you understand." Grace was fired. After 5 years of making that restaurant successful, replaced by a pretty face who could barely boil water. Grace took her severance pay and did something bold. She enrolled in a culinary competition show, Nigeria's Top Chef, a nationally televised cooking competition. When she walked onto the set, the other contestants whispered, "Is that a chef or a..." Never mind. The judges looked skeptical. But then Grace cooked. Episode 1, her dish made the judges silent. Then they erupted in praise. This is exceptional. Where did you learn to cook like this? This is restaurant quality. Episode 2, she won again. Episode 3, again. By episode 5, people across Nigeria were watching, not because she was pretty, because she was brilliant. In the semi-finals, the challenge was cook the dish that defines you. Grace made a simple dish, jollof rice with grilled fish, but she elevated it with techniques and flavors that were genius. When the judges tasted it, one of them, a famous chef, started crying. This is art. This is perfection. This is the best thing I've ever tasted on this show. Grace won that episode. The clip went viral. 10 million views. Grace became a sensation. People wanted to know, who is this chef? In the finals, Grace competed against a classically trained chef from Europe. The challenge, create a 3-course meal for 50 VIP guests. Grace dominated. She won. She was crowned Nigeria's top chef. And in her winner's interview, she said something that made headlines. I used to work at a restaurant where they kept me hidden because of how I look. They told me I would scare customers. They fired me and replaced me with someone pretty who couldn't cook. But tonight, I proved that talent doesn't have a face. To every person who's been told they're not good enough because of how they look, your worth isn't in your appearance, it's in your gifts. The interview went mega viral. Journalists started digging. They found out Grace used to work at Belle Cuisine. They interviewed former staff members who confirmed the mistreatment. They discovered Sophia was still posing as the chef online, while the actual cooking was now done by mediocre replacement cooks. The restaurant's reputation tanked. Customers stopped coming. Reviews plummeted. Meanwhile, Grace was offered everything: book deals, TV shows, restaurant partnerships. She chose to open her own restaurant, Grace's Table. In Lagos, 5-star, exclusive. It became the hottest reservation in Nigeria. Celebrities, politicians, everyone wanted to eat Grace's food. Belle Cuisine couldn't compete. Business dried up. Daniel was drowning in debt. Sophia? She was demoted from hostess to waitress when the restaurant couldn't afford her salary. The pretty face that once got her everything, now meaningless. 1 year later, Daniel had no choice. He put the restaurant up for sale. That's when Grace showed up. Designer clothes, confidence, success radiating from her. I'm here to buy your restaurant, Daniel. Daniel was desperate. Grace, please. I know I treated you badly. I'm sorry. I need this sale. You need it? Like I needed respect when I worked here? I was wrong. I see that now. Grace looked around the shabby restaurant. Then at Sophia, no longer beautiful and glowing, but tired and worn down. Well, I'm buying this place and renovating it. It will be my second location. Daniel's face lit up. Really? Thank you. Thank you. But, Grace continued, neither of you will work here. Daniel's face fell. You taught me that image matters more than talent. So, I'm hiring staff based on their skills, not their faces. You two, you have neither. She turned to leave. Sophia called out, Grace, please, I'm sorry. I was cruel to you. I need this job. Grace paused. You didn't need kindness when you had beauty. Now you have neither. Good luck, Sophia. She walked out, leaving them both behind. Grace's 2 restaurants were thriving. She'd become a celebrity chef, TV shows, cookbook bestseller, everything. She was invited to speak at a conference for young chefs. In her speech, she said, I spent years being told I wasn't enough, not pretty enough, not marketable enough, not image-friendly enough. But you know what? They were wrong, because true beauty isn't in your face, it's in your craft, your passion, your dedication. I may not be conventionally attractive, but I can create beauty on a plate that makes people cry. And that's a power that looks can't give you. Standing ovation. Thousands of aspiring chefs on their feet. Among them, young women and men who looked different, who'd been told they didn't fit. They saw grace and they saw hope. After the speech, a young man approached Grace. Handsome, well-dressed, kind eyes. Mrs. Williams, I'm David. I'm a food photographer. I've been following your journey. Thank you. I was wondering, would you let me photograph your food for a book project? I already have a photographer. I know, but I don't just want to photograph your food. I want to photograph you, the chef behind it all. Grace hesitated. Most people don't want me in the photos. David smiled. Most people are fools. Your face tells a story of resilience, of triumph. That's beautiful. Grace felt her heart skip. For the first time in her life, someone saw her, not despite her appearance, but because of everything she was. 6 months later, Grace and David were together, not just professionally, but romantically. He loved her truly, completely, not for how she looked, but for who she was. Moral. This is the story of Grace Williams, the ugly chef who became a star. What can we learn? First, talent speaks louder than appearance. Grace's food was undeniable. Eventually, skill won over superficiality. Second, cruelty has consequences. Daniel and Sophia's cruelty came back to destroy them. Karma is real. Third, your worth isn't determined by others' opinions. Grace almost let their words define her. Instead, she let her work speak. Fourth, success is the best revenge. Grace didn't destroy them. She simply succeeded, and that was enough. And finally, true love sees the real you. David didn't fall for Grace despite her looks. He fell for her entirety, her talent, her story, her strength. If you've ever been told you are not enough because of how you look, know this: your appearance is the least interesting thing about you. Your talents, your kindness, your resilience, your passion, that is what matters. The world may judge you by your face, but you will be remembered for your impact. Grace was mocked in a kitchen. Now she owns kitchens because talent doesn't need a pretty face. It just needs a chance. And when you take that chance, you can become unstoppable.